Oh man, listen to some TZ. Okay, I was watching Capote. Have you seen it? 30 minutes in, and it's awesome. Uh, I forgot to mention in the Devil's Exorcist review that they had some really good music in it. First song they play from the Cult, dude. They use Faith No More, and not Mike Patton Faith No More. They use the We Care a Lot singer. And some metal that I heard, and like I was like, what is that? A lot of good songs. I totally forgot to mention that in my review. But what I am going to review is the Dinar Koontz book Shadowfires, which I just finished last night. And man, if you have half a mind to go look at my other Dinar Koontz books reviews, he's so bad. He's so bad. But then every once in a while, like, he'll do something like Watchers or Midnight. Icebound was good. Man, and I can't think of any other. Maybe I wish I could reread Lightning, because I know a lot of people like that. But oh my God, he's so terrible. So I lost the cover somewhere. I don't want to show it because I don't have the cover. But Shadowfires, I think it's one of his '80s books. And I was okay. Let's get this garbage over with. And I open it, and it's dedicated to Richard Lehman. And I was like, he dedicated it to Richard Lehman. It's he better try to make it good, because Richard Lehman is my favorite writer. And almost right away, I was like, wow, this is pretty good. It starts off, yeah. So he dedicated to Richard Lehman. I was like, is he going to try to copy Lehman? Which, to his credit, he did not do, because there's a lot of writers that are fans of Lehman that have tried to do what he does, and they just fail miserably, or it's just so absurd that it's like laughable. To give Koontz credit, I guess he tried to write a Lehman, but the way he writes, and he can only write the way he writes. I guess that's good about him. He can't. Well, he is a mimic. He does copy people, but it's so hard to explain. So Shadowfires is about this girl, Rachel, and she's married to this like scientist, genius, millionaire, businessman. It starts out they're getting a divorce. They've settled the divorce, but he's like a megalomaniac, just jerk, self-centered guy, and I guess he just thinks the world should bow down to him, and he just can't believe that she's leaving him. I was like, it's like a Koontz Lehman character, and after they leave the lawyer's office, he's so enraged that he jumps in front of a garbage truck and gets murdered or killed. And so that's cool. And it was actually like, yeah, he's just trying to do his Lehman style book, and it's really fast paced. That was what was really good about it. But it's almost 400 pages. That's a lot. And so the whole thing is that he's a scientist, and he was like trying to become immortal through his science, and he does, but it turns him into a monster, and he comes back to life, and he just wants to kill Rachel and her boyfriend, um, Benny Ben. So yeah, it was the first book I ever read from Layman was Watchers, and that's I read it when it came out, so it has this whole like in the '80s books and horror movies all seem to be in like the genetic manipulation stuff. Uh, and Layman is like good at that. He does his research. So it's basically her husband who was resurrected. He's trying to kill her, and Benny's trying to track him down. But there's like a government organization that because her husband Eric, he was into like dealing with all these different kinds of people for money. Like the government wanted to know if he could make people immortal, to make soldiers. So they're in there, but then the local detectives are like trying to, because his body disappears from the morgue. I'm sorry, I'm pretty buzzed. I'm all over the place with this. So they're involved. Um, yeah, and it was pretty good. I have to say that this is one of the best Koontz books I've read. Jesus, I can't remember. Oh yeah, he wrote. God damn it, The Bad Place. The Bad Place was good, and I had read that before, and I read it again, and I reviewed it. That one was pretty good. Yeah, Koontz is a anomaly. He's a riddle locked inside of an enigma. Is he just yeah? There's a saying like even a blind squirrel will find a nut every once in a while. That sums up Koontz. And I had no hopes for Shadowfires. And that's like, there's actually like a reason for the title, and that was totally dumb. But it was cool. It's a monster, and he's always like mutating, and I was like, wow, like you could only do like they could only do this monster if they made a movie. They could only do it with CGI because it's always changing and reforming and like rippling and stuff. And I was like, wow. Um, but then I had a problem envisioning. I kept seeing the lizard from Spider-Man kind of, but uh, that wasn't exactly right either. It did start to drag at the end, like the um, last 90 pages. I was like, I just want to finish it, and I was still with it. And oh yeah, I wanted to say that I like with Layman, he has this style. I'm with it. Like I can forgive him for what he does. And as I was reading this, I was okay. I have to forgive Koontz with the way he writes and the stuff he does. So that just changed my writing. Like this is how this writer writes. If I'm want to enjoy the story, I have to forgive him and go with it. I can't be judging, like plot holes, illogical stuff. Um, like going off on a tangent. If I want to enjoy the story, I have to go with it. So this was like another like a reading lesson book reading. So maybe hopefully I have another Layman um Shadowfires. I had the hardback. I think he has one called Dragon Tears. I'm reading my zines now. I'm gonna try to lay off my books for a few days so I can read all the zines I've collected. But Shadowfires, I would give it a solid 3 out of 5. Some good characters, but he also like I felt like he'll stop the story to go off on the tangent, and it kind of hurt it for me because was like, okay, it did feel like we're going somewhere. We're going towards a final confrontation, a finale, an end that justifies like where we've been and where we're going. But he'll just stop and like, okay, we'll go off on this thing for a little while. And it kept like roadblocks stopping the story for me. I was like, you're on the trail, let's just get to the end. Oh, and one last, Koontz, he doesn't want to kill his characters. I guess he likes them so much because none of the important characters died. They got hurt, but they were like safe. You could save them. And I was there's high stakes. Someone has to die. But yeah, it was overall it was good. I got to the point where like it was okay. I'm more than halfway through the book. It's got me this far. I can coast the rest of the way. So if you want to read a Koontz, or if you've read Shadowfires, let me know what you think. I meant to do that last candle video.